Personal log, Lieutenant Bumblebee, Stardate 2773.5. For the past 3 days, we've been exploring and researching a new Class M planet. Yesterday, the geology team discovered a new substance which has caused quite a stir. Apparently, it's a pigment that absorbs 99.9% of light visible to the human eye. This new pigment is being kept under wraps until such a time as it can be fully tested, but my good friend Stuart Semple managed to smuggle out a vial for me to experiment with. They call this pigment Black 3.0. And with that, we're just going to jump right into the video because I did not film a transition scene. So I decided to start off this as everyone else always does when they're reviewing this fantastic paint, with a 3D model. Because once this paint dries and it has its full matte finish, it has a tendency to obscure a lot of the details and the different surfaces on 3D models. So I decided I had this little horse lying around. I have a ton of these Schleich horses. If I pronounced that right, I'm sorry, Germany. But I had a ton of these horses lying around because I'm a hoarder. And I decided to paint over him. Now this took possibly 2 or 3 coats. The paint does go on quite thin at first, even on the canvas, as you'll see later. So you do have to add multiple coats, and you really have to let the paint dry completely between coats. Because I kept making that mistake and I got impatient, and I tried layering the new paint over some semi-dry paint and it just lifted the whole thing off all over again. So save yourself the hassle. And here we have this pony out in full sunlight. This is him completely finished, about 3 coats. Now when he's sitting in a darkened room, he really does look like a complete void or a perfect silhouette. But obviously in the brighter sunlight, you can see more of shadowing on the horse. And this is comparison with a Schleich horse that's just painted the regular black factory colour. And I think you actually can appreciate there's a significant difference in them. And now on with the painting. Now I'm not going to speak too much about the paint itself and the story behind it, because so many people have covered it so much better than I ever could. But essentially, this is Stuart Semple's reaction to Anish Kapoor, who essentially copyrighted a type of black pigment that is the blackest substance known to man, and copyrighted it for himself, so that he's the only artist that can use this pigment in any form of art. So Stuart Semple thought that was really uncool and went and made his own black acrylic paint, which is readily available to the masses and is absolutely fantastic. So once again, you can see that on the edges of this, you can see the brush strokes, you can see that it lifts up once you go over it a second time. So you really do need to layer this paint up. And now we're starting our wonderful fantasy planet. I actually didn't get that much footage of me painting the actual black background, which technically is the focus of this video. So that was a bit silly of me, but we can enjoy me painting the rest of this Star Trek inspired painting. Because I was watching a lot of Star Trek when I was doing this. I just finished the original series and I was moving on to the Next Generation. And I just really wanted to paint a starship. so here we have the Enterprise, and it looks really wonky and janky because I do not draw machines or straight lines of any shape or form, and I don't paint with grey, so it's still not going to turn out really good. But I really like this painting as something new, something completely different to what I normally do. And I had a lot of fun making it. I think I did this in just over 2 days. And when I say 2 days, I probably worked on it for like maybe 2 or 3 hours a day, so 6 hours. Any decent YouTuber would be able to do this in a day. But I'm just not cut out for that sort of work ethic, really. The painting of the Enterprise was made a lot harder by the fact that my paintbrushes suck. I have since invested in some newer ones, but these brushes I was using for acrylics they're really cheap in the first place, and they were so old. The only decent one is this little detail brush that I had, which I bought to use in my oil paintings. But I realised I just didn't have any sort of an acrylic brush that would manage to do this lettering or paint in the tiny windows, so it had to be repurposed. I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out, given that, you know, this is completely out of my comfort zone. I have never drawn anything even remotely like this, and I don't do acrylic paint either. I suck really bad at acrylic paint. I can't blend it properly. I can't get it to move on the page how I want. I don't know how people make good acrylic paintings because it just frustrates me so much. And if I haven't mentioned before, actually, this video was an entire year in the making. I even mentioned it last year in my Inktober video that I had this paint that I was making a video for. And yeah, that's 11 months ago at this stage. And I obviously filmed the painting of that horse in the summer, because you can see it's really bright and sunny. This painting that I'm currently working on was filmed at the end of November that year, and it's currently September of the following year by the time I actually managed to put this video together. So that's how long it took. Oh yes, and the intro scenes with me dressed up, those were taken this summer in about May or June, I believe. So yeah. Here I am to wrap up today's video because I didn't film an outro either. And it's a new video and another new location. This is becoming a bit of a trend, but I have in fact returned to college for my final year. And this time I do have plenty of videos filmed in advance, so fingers crossed we can keep having new monthly content here until at least January, I hope. But anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this video. It wasn't a review of Black 3.0 because I don't really do reviews because I'm easily impressed and I usually don't have a lot of negative things to say about most products that I use. I just really wanted to use this paint. I saw Super Ray Dizzle and Chloe Rose and so many other artists were reviewing this paint and using it like last year, the year before, that I just had to try it for myself. And I had loads of fun. I love that little horse up on my wall, on my shelf. He looks like a little black void because he's in a dark corner, and yeah, he looks class. And the painting turned out really good. Like I said, I was on an absolute Star Trek marathon when I was making that, because I was stuck at home with COVID. I was doing online classes and I just watched Star Trek all evening, so I had to get it out of my system some way. And then I thought it'd be really fun to do a cosplay with this video as well. So I'm going to stop rambling and let's finish up the video with, as always, the sneak peek of what's coming next month. Please remember to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in next month's video. Woo, this planet is hot. It's only early morning and it's already stupid degrees Celsius and humid. So if you've made it this far in the video, congratulations, you've earned yourself a sneak peek at what's coming in next week's video. And I have to talk over this part because I've actually changed the order of the videos that are going up. So next month's video is going to be me making a Halloween costume.